This is how to reinvent yourself in 2025. This is something that I've been through many times in my life. Most notably, when I was 16 years old, I knew that I wanted more, and I'm sure you're in this same situation, right? You know you've got more potential. You know there's a version of you which has so much to give to the world, yet for whatever reason, you're not fully expressing that. There's part of you that craves it. There's part of you that's desperate to show it, yet it seems like there's this bigger part of you that's holding you back from achieving it. Your default is to resort to this smaller version of yourself. And so that's exactly where I was. I felt like I had a lot to give. I had a lot of information. I'd been obsessed with personal development for a long time. It was actually the only thing that I was passionate about. I didn't play video games like my friends. I didn't waste a bunch of time on stupid shit, but I was wasting it on stupid stuff by not sharing the important stuff that I had learned. For whatever reason, I knew what I had inside myself, but it was like I was afraid to express that. I was afraid to let out all of who I truly was, which is almost a worse feeling, right? When you know what you've got inside, but for whatever reason, you just feel like you're fighting yourself. Some part of yourself is having an issue with letting this version of you out. You know that there's a better version of you, but you just can't express it for some reason. Now, I've come out here to this park tonight to share with you how I overcame what felt like the impossible task of stopping myself from keeping me small. I already knew it was my own head that was holding me back from achieving more, but that didn't make it any easier to stop. Even though you know it's you holding you back, you still hold you back, which is infuriating, right? And so the very first thing I did, which changed everything for me, was I built the vision of who I wanted to be, of what I wanted to do. And you don't have to know how. That's not the very first step. You just have to get clear on what you want for your life. And it's so funny, moving to Gold Coast, I've really realized more and more that everything I set my eyes on has come to fruition. And for me, the craziest example is just, I was a 16-year-old boy and I was like, I want to be in the most beautiful place. I want to be surrounded by beautiful girls all the time. I want to be near the beach, and I want to be near like the forest, and I want to have my own place, and I want to have the coolest friends, and I want to feel fit and be an athlete. And I just imagined, I really just let my imagination run wild, and I didn't filter and I didn't hold back on that. And I walk around here sometimes and it really is true. I know for a fact that you can have exactly what you want because I live it every single day. And the bigger I dream, the bigger I seem to accomplish. The only thing that I would ever tell my younger self, because I genuinely don't have any regrets, but the only thing in my life that I would tell the younger version of myself is aim bigger sooner. Give yourself permission to do that, because it's only by giving myself permission to dream in the ways that I have that I've unlocked all of the things that I have. I've made $4,000 this week by posting videos and helping change people's lives while going for walks, meeting my friends for smoothie bowls, playing paddle or pickleball, whichever one it was, and just having a good time. I don't have a boss. I don't go to work. I don't answer to anyone. And I live in the most beautiful place in the world, surrounded by the most beautiful people in the world. And I have the best friends. I have an incredible life. And this all came from getting very clear on what it was that I wanted. From going, okay, what does the best version of myself actually look like? Now, let's get a bit more tangible, because what you have to realize is the first step is just the what. It's actually not about the how. So often, what prevents us from setting our sights bigger is when we do think bigger, the first thought that pops into our head is, I don't know how to do that. Is that possible? I've never seen that before. No one around me has done that. Like, can I actually do that? And so the very first step is when you ask yourself, what do you want? You must first remove, how do I get it? We're not asking you, how do you get it? Because the only way that you know how to get what you want is by being the type of person that would, could, and has achieved that. So it's this kind of catch-22 state where in order to know how to get what you want, you have to already be that person. What do I mean by this? I've worked with a couple ex-Olympians, right? And if you think about it like this, these Olympians, they're Olympians for 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4 years before they're actually an Olympian. They have the thoughts, feelings, actions, and movements of an Olympian for 4 years before they get to step out on the stage and certify it. One of my clients, he was actually in the Olympic reserve squad, and as soon as he landed, they said, yep, looks like you won't be competing. So he touched down and basically went back home. He was an Olympian in every way that he acted, in everything that he did. He was the same as the Olympians in his squad, except for a few millisecond difference, right? So you become this person and then the results show up. So what I'm saying is the reason why you don't know how to achieve these goals is because you are not this person yet. But the reason you set these goals is so that you can become that person. So it is a catch-22, and that catch-22 means you don't have to worry about not knowing how to achieve these goals. The fact that you don't know how to achieve them is a good sign that they are goals worthy of you setting, because it means you'll have to become someone else in order to achieve them. I saw a 19-year-old in my office yesterday, and his goal by February is to make $750,000. He's on track to do that. And $750,000 in February, in that month, $750,000 after tax, take-home income. He pulled up to his session in a Porsche 911 Carrera Spider, and he's crushed so many things. He didn't know how to at the start. He said, I'm going to. I don't care who I have to become in order to achieve these things. I'm going to achieve these things. He actually wanted to prove to his family that he was capable of achieving these things. He wanted to prove to himself that he was capable of becoming this person, but he didn't know how he was going to do that. He was a carpenter when he started. But do you think he sat there as a carpenter saying, well, I don't know how to do it, so I can't. I guess I won't try. No, you have to not know how to be the person that you want to be. That's a good sign that you're aiming for the right kind of person. Don't avoid it because it's unfamiliar. Sprint towards it because it is unfamiliar. So what you want to ask yourself, where do I want to be 5 years from now? Who would I like to surround myself with? What will I be wearing? Where will I be living? What are my relationships like? How will I feel? Who am I helping? And who else does this impact? When I was 16 years old, I realized, maybe it was 17, maybe it was a little bit later in my life, but I'd had been very insecure up until this point in my life. And whatever you have in your life, that is your standard. Whatever you're not changing, you're choosing, you're accepting it. And so what I realized was that I had accepted being a weak, insecure human. In short, a pussy. And I use the word pussy because it's short for pusillanimous, which is actually an old English word meaning cowardly and weak. And it gets you listening. That's a hypnosis cue. Sometimes you have to break the pattern, say what others aren't willing to say. So I was a pussy and it felt terrible. And I realized that I was settling for being a pussy. But what I couldn't accept was my future son's father being a coward, being weak, being insecure, and avoiding things. Because I was at the point where I couldn't look bus drivers in the eyes, I wasn't talking to cashiers, I couldn't talk to a stranger, and I would push my friend towards a stranger, I would push my girlfriend towards a stranger, and I just went, holy shit, is it gonna get to the point where one day I'm with my son and I have to push him towards the stranger to do the speaking for me? So when I decided I wanted to be confident, when I decided I want to talk to anyone that I want to, when I decided that I want to talk to stage and help thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of people, I didn't even know how to talk to one person. And so what you have to settle for is a higher level, not a level that you know how to achieve. You have to raise the bar to go for something that you don't even know is possible. The way you completely reinvent yourself is by saying, I am not settling for what I know anymore. I will only settle for exactly what it is that I want. I won't say, oh, okay, this seems reasonable, I know how to do that. I will say only what it is that I truly, deeply want. Nothing other than my heart's true purpose is good enough for me. Because I'll leave you with this. You truly do not know how much time you have left. I watched my father's heart stop beating when I was 16 years old. My mum manually pumped the oxygen through his veins for 8 minutes, 12 seconds while we were on the phone to emergency services. He made it through. He's since run 5, 6, maybe 7 marathons. I'm so grateful to have him with me today. But it made me realize the value of every single moment. We truly do not know when it could come. He had just got back from a run, and he was talking to my little brother about dinner. He kind of stumbles from the kitchen table to the couch and falls off the couch onto the floor out of nowhere. In a second, that could have been it. It's September 2025 right now. Charlie Kirk just got shot. It's been all over the news. He's there with his wife, his daughter. The next moment, he's not. How much less would your insecurities mean to you if this was your last month on earth? If this was your last year on earth to help your loved ones, to show the world who you are, to show the world how much they could be, how much less would your insecurities mean to you? How much more stupid would the arguments you've been having with your loved ones be? How much more disappointing would you wasting your potential be? How much more could you help the world by truly owning and being your best self? If you want to step into your best self, your future self right now, DM me the word change on Instagram or book a call with me through the link in my YouTube bio. If it's not there, it's in my Instagram bio. And let's make the world a better place together, where we are enlightened, where we are our full self, and where there is nothing holding us back, because you right now, today, can become your best self, and the world needs you at your best.